But apart from the flying triangles, I think there were a lot of flying knives as well.
Yeah, there was. It was a bit dangerous, but the knives were introduced actually by a roadie of ours, Lemmy, who later went on to lead a heavy metal band called Motorhead. And it was actually Lemmy that reminded me of this. You guys probably don't remember Lemmy.
I do,
remember
very
Lemmy,
well,
yeah.
Yeah, he was a roadie for us.
He used to have me.
And I started using like a I think a Turkish dagger to hold the keys down, and it was Lemmy that came up to me and he said, you know what, if you're going to use a knife, use a proper one.
Yeah.
And he handed me a Hitler Youth dagger.
God, which is what he was into, all of those.
Yes, and they're not very good throwing knives.
No.
And which Brian was to find out, and I used to stick them in the keyboard, and
it formed a chord. He jammed two down, jammed another one.
Yes.
This chord would carry on while Keith improvised two hands free. It was like a third hand.
So there was a musical need or purpose to this knife throwing.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely.
Yes.
Good heavens.
But having provided a musical purpose, one had to get rid of these stuck in there. And what better way, if they're knives, then you throw them, And I wasn't a very good knife thrower.
Oh.
Still aren't.
Really?
And
okay.
Used to lob them into the Leslie, didn't
I used to lob them. Some used to stick in, some used to glance off at an angle. And we came off after one particularly wonderful gig, and I was very pleased. And I got into the dressing room, and there's Brian sporting a huge cut across here somewhere. And he said, "Who the fuck do you think you are?"
I told you not to do that.
No, he said, "Who the fuck?"
Please don't throw knives in this gig because it wasn't on for it.
Yeah, and he said, "Who the fuck do you think you are? Errol Flynn?"
I remember seeing them. I think it might help if you sharpened them from time to time, and then they would sort of stick in the wood of the Leslie cabinet.
But apart from the knives and the whips and probably a few explosions as well, I think Keith also developed this amazing technique of actually riding the L100 across the stage.
Oh, that was quite remarkable, because I used to climb on top with the whip and just rock it backwards and forwards. But to my utter amazement, I actually found that it would actually walk across the stage, and I could actually chase Lee.
Along on this rocking Hammond.
I thought this was actually great. I thought, wow, number one, first of all, the keyboard player, which is meant to be static, can actually move around the stage like a guitar player. This was great for me.
All 350 pound of it.
All three, yeah. So I'd sort of, ride it across the stage almost like a jockey. And it was a great highlight of the show until I think we played with Amen Corner, and we were at Green's Theatre in Scotland, and somebody had the sense of humour to nail my L100, nail the baseboard down to the stage. So I jump on it, and I'm intending to chase Lee, and I'm stuck.
That was hilarious.
I ain't going anywhere,
The best one, we played at Ill Pie Island. We're doing this, Keith's on top and he's going all the bit, and he comes to the end, he's got it on his chest and he's playing it from behind, which is amazing. I mean, how he can play it upside down beats me, but play it upside down as if he was playing it the right way. And it got to the end and he vaulted back, and what he hadn't realised, he got it to the edge of the stage, and the stage was 10 foot up in the air. And all of a sudden, he goes, and the Hammond died away with a flick-off switch. And normally he would press it back on, go, oh, and I would come and he'd start playing the number again. It died away and nothing. Me and him standing going, dum diddle-dum, 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 diddle-dum. And I'm going,
You and Brian?
Yeah. Where is he? I don't know. He bolted off into the audience because we couldn't see him.
Well, I disappeared into the dark depths of the pit. And it was one I didn't break any, bones or whatever, so I had to find my way back on stage. So I went to the side wings where there was the usual...
All the while.
Yeah, all the while this dum-diddle-dum is going on stage. And I try and find my way back onto the stage, and there's this... as we used to call them in those days, job's worth. It's more than my job's worth. You can't let you back in. You don't have a pass to come backstage. I said, well, I've just come...
Falling off the stage.
I've just come from up there. And they said, I'm sorry if you don't... Yeah, I'm sorry, we're not... I said, if you don't let me out on stage, these guys are going to go dum, 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 forever. You know, I'm going to have to go up there and finish it off.
This is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, really. So, well, eventually Baz came to the rescue, and I don't know, he pushed the guy aside and dragged all 9 stone of me and threw me back out on the stage. And of course, Lee and Brian were very relieved that I'd made my reappearance, and we were able to finish the show. You know.
But the organ itself didn't fall off the stage ever. At any of these
Oh, it
gigs?
has done.
Ah.
Yeah, it has done many times. Yeah, thank God for no injury to the audience.
But there was one number where there was a tremendous crash on the Hammond, wasn't there? We used to drop it. And what piece was that, Keith?
Oh God! There were a lot of as I said before, there were so many accidents that we derived and we'd make use of. Really, it's like, and I learned how to control the crash of the explosion. I'd use your drumstick sometimes to achieve. I'd hit the reverberation chamber inside the Hammond.
That's right.
And it would look like I was beating the living daylights out of...
So your bedroom is the reverb chamber at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
It looks for all the world like the bars on an old-fashioned electric fire. 3 or 4 springs stretched in a little thing.
Hit
That
that.
would crash and go off and he got in the back with a drumstick after that. Whoa!
But it was all the influence of John Cage. When you stick ping pong balls inside of a piano, you just sit there for 5 minutes and look at it, and that's a piece of music.
Yeah, yeah.
I once bought a piece of John Cage music, and that's all it is. It's just a blank piece of paper.
Because you didn't have a synthesizer in those days, or did you, Keith? Were you able to use a synthesizer with an ice, or had it not been
We
invented?
did.
It came in towards the end. Didn't
Yeah,
it?
we did. Yeah. We did use it. I became aware of it when Switched On Bark was a hit.
When Wendy was still Walder.
Yeah, when Wendy was still
still
Wendy
Walter
Carlos.
Carlos,
And I walked into a Soho shop, and I knew the proprietor of that shop, and he knew that the Nice had recorded Brandenburger, which was the Brandenburg Concerto in G by Bach. And he said, well, I've got another version for you to hear. And I heard it, and it was Walter Carlos's Switched On Bach. And I listened to it, I thought, wow, it's a bit bottom heavy. It was a bit, but that's incredible. And he showed me a picture of how this music was produced, and it was, to me, it looked like a telephone switchboard with all leads and everything stuck into it. And I went out of my way to find out if England actually had one of these. And it was actually Tony Stratton Smith that wrote to America, and I've still got the letter. He wrote it to Walter Sear, who was then with the Moog Company, and I was asking to get a free one, because I thought that I probably deserved it. And back came the letter from Walter Sear about 2 weeks later, said, thank you very much for your interest in the Moog synthesizer. First of all, we don't really recommend it for bands. It's not reliable for touring with. And secondly, our policy is not to give these instruments away. And seeing as the Rolling Stones and the Beatles have already bought theirs, I see no reason why you should not buy yours. So anyway, it was worth a try.
Did you ever get one? I mean, did you get a freebie? Or?
Well, I borrowed one that Mike Vickers from Manfred Mann had at the time. And we did a concert at the Fairfield Hall with an orchestra, where we played 2001. And we also did the Five Bridges Suite. And it was then that I realised the possibilities that and the expansion that a keyboard could actually do. It was a tricky instrument to operate on stage. And of course, when I went on to ELP, that became one of another instrument that defined their sound.
So the Nice had this. The Nice started out playing in small pubs and clubs, and then by the end of the 60s, you were playing really major concerts, 2-hour shows at big venues, as we mentioned, like the Royal Albert Hall and the Festival Hall, and touring America as well. So what was a typical set like? What was a concert like by the Nice? How would you prepare the show, and what sort of numbers did you actually play during that mammoth 2-hour performance?
Ooh, gosh, set list.
I remember we always started, when we did all the tours, we did our own headline and tour, we always started with Karelia because of the quiet start.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
What we followed with, I don't know. I know in the second set, I don't remember what we started with, but it would have been something fairly heavy. But then we did not a medley, but we did all our Dylan repertoire, which by that time was She Belongs to Me, which was probably the end.
You used to do Flower King of Flies, that was one of the
that,
early
that
numbers.
is long gone. That was one of the ones that didn't survive Davy. He was the principal singer on that.
Doing a Pathetique thing on.
Yes, we
Pathetique was
yeah.
current then.
Yeah, we did the Pathetique.
Country Pie.
Country Pie was I love playing that.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was fun.
brilliant.
Did you
It was
try
a
and
good-
structure a concert so that you could bring the audience up and down, have a big
Yeah.
sort of high at the end? I guess that's the way it would have worked.
I think it was a matter of trial and error. We'd sort of like come off stage and discuss what went down and what didn't go down, and what we all felt comfortable playing and what we didn't feel comfortable playing, and we'd really get the repertoire hinged around that. Obviously, you've got to start off good. As Lee said, the dramatic approach was with the Karelia suite, Sibelius, with this long drone at the beginning, and then dun 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 dun, and Lee would echo that on his.
With the board bass.
See, by this time you have the audience's attention, and it's not like really coming on stage with a complete crash of sound. You start it with a complete dimmed lights, and then suddenly, the rhythm starts coming in with Lee playing the bass and Brian, which is just it just gave it a bit of a throb, didn't it, mate?
Bit of a pulse.
Bit of a pulse.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, could you play a set like that today? I mean, would audiences accept such a variety of music, different styles, different tempos?
I don't think we ever played in different styles when we played. I think it was all.
It all
It
developed
was,
into
you know,
to
it
us.
was.
and
What
the-
would you call it? The sound that we created was through every piece that we played.
It was,
Really,
it
wasn't
was
it?
subconscious after the initials.
Just fed
Theme at the
ideas off of each other. As much as not being a drummer, I was able to sort of like say to Brian, well, it's got to have this sort of pulse to it, and he'd come up with it. The hardest thing, I think, was writing music and hoping that Lee could actually sing it. In effect, I think what I was looking for was an extension of my piano playing, which I've since learned is an impossible thing to ask from anybody.
So you had to find the right keys, the right.
Yes, but Lee can probably continue with this, but I was a very stubborn person, and if I happen to write something at the keyboard, and I think every keyboard player will know that when you write something in a particular key, you write it in that particular key for a reason, because that's the only key it should be in. And it doesn't matter if somebody's got to sing it, they've got to sing it in that key.
So were there,
And so he had a lot of trouble.
were there tensions within the band sometimes? I mean, I know what it's like, a band being on the road and having to put on a show every other night. I mean, was it exhausting physically and mentally for you?
It's exhausting for I think for everybody. I mean, particularly when, I was very, very demanding. I think in those days, and I wanted Lee to write a lyric in 5 minutes for something which I thought was so simple. I can sing this. Why can't you sing it? But in fact, I couldn't sing. I mean,
There was one funny bit. He had heard Lalo's Sinfonía Español,
See, you're singing it now.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you do it then?
Because you had a different bloody key. So he says, why don't you write some words to this? I thought, okay, you know. Weeks went by and nothing was coming up. And finally we were going on a gig somewhere and I had a brainwave. And the lyric I wrote was, I can't think of words to this music, nor reason nor rhyme to abuse it. And on it went from there. I got that line and I was away. I was sat in the bandwagon. I wrote the damn thing in 5 minutes.
And I was so
Then
happy.
I had to try and sing it because we'd recorded the track.
I was so happy that there was some lyrics, you know.
Yes.
It didn't matter what dreck it was. It was lyrics, you
And it
know.
was brilliant. That was a brilliant flash, I
It
think.
was.
You
Then I
know.
had to come and sing it. And we'd already recorded the track, the basic 3 instruments, you know, and it was great. And it was a bit went dun dun da da dun dun da da dun dun da da dun. And I had to sing dun dun da da dun dun. Yeah. But the way it had to be sung, I was having to sing up the scale while playing down the scale simultaneously, and I couldn't do it.
What was the song called, Lee? What was this?
It was called Diary of an Empty Day.
Based on Lelo's Symphony Espagnole.
Yeah. It's a brilliant piece of music.
Which we heard, the first time we ever heard it, we played in Paris. Why we were there, I have no idea. But it was the Paris French television, probably still do, and they have a sneak preview of the Paris Spring collections, and all the top designers were there. And one designer actually got out a violin and played this. It was Paco Rabanne. But there was Dior and Courage and all these gorgeous models. Oh, that was a wonderful day, that was.
So you were throwing each other musical challenges all the time in the NICE. And Brian, did you find that, challenging and exciting? I mean, were there problems for you as well in
No, I think
providing the percussion?
No, not really. I think the only time I felt any pressure was, I think, one of the gigs at the Fillmore East, when I thought we'd reached the pinnacle before the big stop, and you decided to go on. Yeah. You decided to go on for a few more minutes. I thought my arms were going to drop off because I was doing this sort of single stroke roll effect between the bass drum and the floor tom-tom.
Yes.
And riding along like that, yeah.
So that was quite exhausting.
I said, please come to an end, please, you know.
Up and up and up and up,
Yeah,
and something
going up, but I-
would get the
It
nod.
was all right.
Yes.
But it wasn't, I could feel that I was going over the edge.
Yes,
Not
yes.
just coming to the edge, which I think the band, we used to do quite a lot, go to the edge. Which was that's one of the things that made it very exciting.
It went crashing up to a huge crescendo, and had a signal from Keith. It usually involved him leaping into the air and coming down hand on the keyboard. It stopped, dead on the blot, just like that. And one single note carried on at about 1,000th of the decibels that had previously been. Was one of the greatest pieces of dynamics I've ever seen, and I'm proud to have been in the band that did it. And it was, and 99 times out of 100, it were absolutely wonderful. But he was going, my arms just dropping off.
So what would you say were the most exciting gigs that you remember towards the peak of the band's career? I mean, America must have been very exciting for you when you played.
The Fillmore East that we recorded.
One of my favourites.
Yeah, and that was the live album, wasn't it?
That was the live album, yeah. And it was even more exciting there. I mean, that is the only thing that, to me, that we ever recorded that captured the band as I saw it.
Yeah.
And as it was, you can hear it all. That's the only time. None of the studio things ever come anywhere close, because we tried to produce it ourselves, and I think looking back on it, we should have had an independent producer. But there was no to produce with that. We just got out and we played it, and we all communicated mentally and by eye contact and just general metaphysical communication, and it worked fantastic.
Yes.
And it's a naturally high energy.
And we didn't play.
band
We
anyway,
didn't play
wasn't it?
Diary of an Empty Day.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And so the audiences were, very responsive at this point, weren't they? I mean, the band really were very successful, would you say? Yeah.
Yeah.
You were probably the hit band in the country, I think, by 1969.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think we were invited to go to LA in 1970 mainly to play America.
Yeah.
But much to my disgust, America was arranged by somebody else.
I believe that the composer, Leonard Bernstein, wasn't too happy, was he, about your treatment of the piece?
Well, apparently, I don't know whether he was or not. We made some concessions towards Bernstein's America by way that we called it America's Second Amendment, because we used Dvorak's New World Symphony, and that was out of copyright, whereby Bernstein's America was still seriously in copyright. So we eventually came to an arrangement with Bernstein's publishing company.
But you became friends later as well, I believe. Is that right? Or maybe not. Let me say you knew him. Yeah.
He liked my leathers, apparently.
If Bernstein had his way, it would have been in the biblical way.
Steady. Cut.
Yes, he did like my leathers.
Ah, right. So if the Nice do get back together and you do play gigs together, what do you think? Will the sense of humour still be there, do you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, we've grown up a bit more.
Yeah.
Well, I haven't.
Yeah, a bit.
I'll probably still fall off the organ into the audience, but no, it's we're looking at it and re-establishing it properly. We're looking for a guitar player now. Anybody out there?
Ah. Right.
Got to be able to sing though, because I don't know if to sing it all.
So it could be an exciting... I mean, other musicians as well. It won't just be the three of you in the new Nice if this does happen.
Well, I think the concept can go on. I mean, the Nice needn't just mean Lee, Brian, and me. It could mean other,
Other musicians too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good,
Yeah. And don't tell me about an orchestra at this point.
No.
Don't mention orchestra.
I won't mention orchestras. Yeah. So the story continues. This is going to be nice. Part 2, we think. Yeah, hopefully.
Well, I would hope so, yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Hey guys, good to see you again. Yeah.